What is your most heartwarming office story? So I'm one of the managers in a restaurant, have worked there for nearly 7 years. Like many jobs in hospitality, you form close bonds, as I have with many of my colleagues, but specifically, one. I'll call him Theo. He's also a manager. We had a lot of our shifts together a couple of years ago, in the early morning, and we'd have a couple of hours before customers arrived, and ended up having some really interesting deep chats. We'd talk about issues on the news, politics, we'd talk about our failed relationships and things we learned on podcasts, even random stuff like, would you rather have a hand for a foot or a foot for a hand? We just have the same humor, very dry, and the same work ethic, both not interested in the work drama. We are each other's confidant when we need to vent, and we always have each other's back. And though people have pointed fingers and teased us for being close, hinting that our friendship is romantic, it is so genuinely not, on either end, and that's how we want it to be. He's a handsome guy, I'm a not totally hideous woman, and we're a couple of years apart, and people poke fun a lot, and we don't take it seriously, but we've talked about how annoying it can be to each other. With a lot of the staff I've known for years, it isn't unusual for us to put a hand on a shoulder or even hug, but me and Theo have never done that with each other, though we have with other colleagues. It would give people too much to talk about. More recently, I've been having a hard time with ongoing health issues, something in my body is undiagnosed, and various nurses and doctors are running tests. I have all the symptoms for a certain cancer. Not that I necessarily have it, I'm just in this horrible waiting period, and I hadn't told anyone at work. My walking has slowed down a little, as I'm in pain. Theo noticed, and I knew what I said would be in confidence. So I told him what was going on, how I was feeling anxious. He reassured me, and talked about how even if it is the worst case scenario, they'll have caught it early and I'd be okay. I have a tendency to overthink and stress, where he is more level-headed, but perhaps lacks empathy with some of our coworkers. But that's why we talk, we call each other out because we know each other. He even got me laughing at one point, saying if I die what would I give him in my will. I said I'd already given him my work computer password because his didn't work, and we laughed that at least my legacy would live on because it would look like I'd be working even past the point of death because my name would still appear on the reports. Hearing it out loud made me feel a little better, because we both knew it wasn't like I was even close to being that sick, and it felt good to belly laugh again. We went back to work, and at the end of the night, when my shift was over, I said goodbye as I always do, but I told him not to worry, that I would be okay. And he said, I know you will, try not to think the worst and try to get out of your head. I knew he was right, and he thanked me for trusting him enough to talk about it. And I just felt so exhausted and overwhelmed by the end of my shift, and in a moment of weakness I asked him, is it lame to ask for a hug? And he said of course not, and put down what was in his hands and pulled me in for I think the best hug I can remember in a long time. You know when you're a kid, and you tell a parent or friend you're freezing, and they just wrap you up and rub your shoulders and arms to warm you up? That's what Theo did. He held my head with one hand and tucked it under his own, and repeatedly rubbed my shoulder and arm with the other, and it was as if a father was comforting his child. And though we're both in our early 20s, that's the sort of friendship we have, it's like family. It's never been romantic, we're sometimes brother and sister, sometimes we gentle parent each other, and we're each other's best work friend. And I guess I'm posting this because if anyone doubts that a man and a woman can be friends, believe me when I say they can. It was such an unexpected bond, and for a good few years, we never really talked, both being introverted. But we look after each other now, and though people change jobs or move away, I will always think of him with love.